Hello there everyone, Ashnflash here, and welcome on into every Easter egg and reference included into the brand new LEGO Marvel Avengers Tower set. And there is so much to go through. I tried counting them out, but then I'm like, I don't know which ones to count as an individual reference, but then there's layers and layers to them. Oh my goodness, there is so much to go through. So if you want to hop around to the different time codes and chapters, you can find them down below. We're going to go in order of the references from the Infinity Saga and I guess the Multiverse Saga for some references. And then we're going to talk about some specific references at the end to some broader themes. So let's go ahead and let's jump into things, starting things off with 2008's Iron Man. We have here from his workshop an arc reactor. And I like to think that this is the proof that Tony Stark has a heart arc reactor there, how it's on display. But either way, you've got an arc reactor there. Also included, which I think is crazy, is the People's Magazine cover that we see from the movie. I love how they have Legoized that. And it's sort of around the corner where you could see it through the window from the back of the tower. There's a newspaper that says, "Who is Iron Man?" on that 2x2 tile next to the cell. There's a bunch of money scattered throughout the set, so there's one in a drawer in his workshop, as well as in the elevator shaft. As you're building it, you'll find another $100 bill there. On Pepper Potts' sort of tablet device, you could see that there's two things there. One of them is meant to represent a cheeseburger, which is, of course, one of the things that he asked for. He wants an American cheeseburger. And the second thing that he wanted was to call a press conference. So you can see that there's a phone call there, whether or not that's her calling in a press conference, or I like to think that that is a reference to when Tony was trying to call her from when he went through the wormhole. Moving on now to Iron Man 2. This one's unconfirmed, but there is actually a battery included in Tony Stark's lounge, as the designers have called it. And inside one of the crates underneath the different art pieces, you've got there this Octan Lego battery. And I'm not sure why that's specifically included, but I'm going to go with that's a line here from Iron Man 2.
Not everybody runs on batteries, Tony.
There's a little bird next to the Avengers sign. Let's pretend that's Whiplash's bird. I don't think that this is a specific reference, but I'm going to file this as one.
This is not my bird.
What do you mean? That's the bird. This is the bird. Yeah.
Now, the Incredible Hulk does get a reference. You can see up here at the top, there's actually this screen with a news report, and it says the Hulk smashes again. So whether that is a reference to any of the numerous events from that film, it could be a reference to Age of Ultron. It's really your pick. The Avengers, of course, features so many references in this set. So there are a bunch of panels throughout this that have a couple of arc reactors, and that could be a reference to the status of the tower now that it's self-sustaining. We see that in the first film. There's a panel in his workshop of the Quinjet, and you could see the schematics for that, but as well as Natasha on the call, perhaps referencing his grand entrance when he goes to fight Loki.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me?
Speaking of Loki, there is a panel specifically on him where they are showing that he's trying to use facial recognition software to find him, and it says no match, which we do see actually used in the helicarrier when they find him in Germany. There's, of course, the containment cell included in the set that is very reminiscent and has been called the cell from the helicarrier, which, again, this whole set is Infinity Saga based, so they were going to include a prison cell regardless, so I'm glad that it's referencing that. In one of the other drawers in the workshop, you can find a cookie. So many people were quick to point this out to me that while shooting the first Avengers film, Robert Downey Jr. hid a ton of snacks around the set of the movie, and that led to this scene being ad-libbed.
Blueberry?
I personally think that it could have been a little more fun to have a donut included instead, to reference both this fun behind-the-scenes reference to the Avengers, but also, of course, Iron Man 2. There's a newspaper up in the Avengers lounge from the New York Bulletin. That is actually the exact cover from Daredevil. So while recent official timelines given out to us by Disney and Marvel have confirmed that those shows and different characters are not canon to the main MCU timeline, I guess the New York Bulletin still runs and operates in the LEGO MCU. There is actually a shawarma piece included for Kevin Feige to hold, as well as a 2x2 tile can be found in the garbage can in the back alleyway. The shawarma shop was actually considered to be included in the set along with Grand Central and a bit of the MetLife building. If you want to hear more about that from the designers, I definitely recommend checking out this video and going over what's missing from this set. There is actually a tile showing the Mark 7 suit deploy, and it's showing that it's actually tracking the wristbands, as well as outside you can see that there is actually Tony falling from the sky after being thrown out of the tower from Loki, and the Mark 7 is rushing to catch him. There is actually a portal device included at the very top of the tower for a wormhole to open for the Chitauri to come on through, as well as Eric Selvig has a laptop as his accessory, which we do see him using in the film. The Hulk's face is actually a specific reference. Him smirking there and smiling is right after Captain America delivers this iconic line.
And Hulk. Smash.
The broken windows is from the Hulk sliding down the tower, referencing him when he is smashing the Chitauri back and forth, as well as when he catches Iron Man when he's falling back through the wormhole. A lot of people were wondering and speculating on what these are in the background. The designer for the set, Justin Ramsden, has confirmed they're just modern art pieces that appear in the background from different scenes from the first Avengers. To the right of that room, there is of course a tile on the floor of Loki literally indented into the floor from the Hulk smashing him back and forth. The Winter Soldier has a couple of different references. In the back alleyway, there is a little poster referencing the Captain America exhibit being held at the Bricksonian, which was also referenced in the Sanctum last year, which is perfectly timed with the new Modular Museum releasing soon, so I look forward to actually making a Captain America exhibit. Arnim Zola is included here for the very first time, I guess, in LEGO form. Really cool little stickers and references there. I'm so happy we've got the camera so that he can see who he's talking to, as well as just Zola's face there on the tile above. There's of course the newscast there that has a weather warning that mentions the Winter Soldier there, so that's a little pun. From Age of Ultron, of course, there are a ton of references. There's this really cool physical build of Ultron and Jarvis fighting each other, or when Tony's just showing up the schematics of the two of them. There's a bed underneath there acting as both where Hawkeye is treated by Helen Cho, and he says this line,
"I'm gonna be made of plastic."
which is really funny since Lego is made of plastic. But of course that can also act as where Vision is born. There is actually the Mind Stone included there, as well as a panel with an arc reactor and an Iron Man helmet. And speaking of the Mind Stone, in Tony's workshop there's this tile with a bunch of hexagon and strands of DNA. In Avengers Age of Ultron, you see multiple times in the movie that there are hexagons in the molecular makeup of the Mind Stone, which of course can be tied to Wanda, who got her powers from the Mind Stone, and you see of course hexagons and hexes appear later on in WandaVision. There is a 2x2 blueprint tile of the Ultron version 2, V2 it says. The ultimate version with the top headpiece that we got back in the day. There's a simplified Stark Industries logo there. There's of course the Avengers party happening there, which you could see there's enough seats in different places for the Avengers to stand and try and lift Thor's hammer. In the back there is a little bar, which we do see Natasha bartending. There's a secret lab, and we do know from the designer that that panel, he said, is a reference to Ultron duplicating himself into the Avengers Tower system. And we've got a bunch of alerts going off. We've got Jarvis there. And I like to think that it could also be Jarvis copying himself, which we do see that he didn't actually die. He just went underground, as Tony says it. The second screen there is scanning Loki's scepter, and it's detected the Infinity Stone inside. You might think that some of the minifigure inclusions are a bit strange here, but we actually have the full team at the end of the movie included, with, of course, Captain America, Black Widow, but then we've got Vision, War Machine, Falcon, as well as Wanda, all included in the set as well. And speaking of Vision, it's actually a brand new version and variant for him. Not only does he have updated prints with more accurate colors, but this has never been done before, where he has transparent pieces to make it more unique, giving him that phasing effect that he is able to do, or when he is being born. From Ant-Man, there's actually some Pym particles in the trash bin in the back alleyway, which is also a reference to Endgame, and they needed that for time travel. The Pym name and logo can be seen on the side of the vending machine, I guess Presumably there's a flavor of Pim Particles soda there. Would have been cool if that was a reference to the drink from The Incredible Hulk, but that's fine. There is actually Pim Particle drinks in Disneyland. Anyways, the color of the vending machine is orange, so some people have said maybe it's a reference to this line from Civil War.
Does anyone have any orange slices?
And speaking of Civil War, we've also got the Roxxon barrel there, which is the exact same design and sticker from this set from Captain America Civil War. There may not be specific references to Spider-Man Homecoming, unfortunately, despite it appearing so much throughout that movie. However, there is actually 2 studs on the Avengers A, allowing you to take the Spider-Man figure from the Sanctum last year and putting him onto the side, just like you see from some of the marketing for that movie. From Avengers Infinity War, the only reference that I can spot is the Captain Marvel pager, which is in the alleyway in the back, which the designers have sort of given a reason to fix some of the MCU plot holes.
We've just put on the floor at the back of the building as if Nick Fury has dropped it, because we have to assume he kept misplacing it as to why he didn't call Captain Marvel earlier than he does in the Infinity Saga.
Moving on now to Avengers Endgame. On page 140 of the second instruction booklet, it actually says that Wong is going to the tower to show Hawkeye that mayo doesn't belong on hot dogs. But while it's an interesting reference as to why Wong is included in the set, the wording doesn't really make sense, since the chilling opening scene of the film actually shows this line.
What's mayo in a hot dog?
By your brothers. 2 mustard, please. Thanks, Mama.
So the instructions should really be saying the opposite. The Tesseract is actually included on the ground floor after Tony is, of course, knocked over and he drops the Tesseract out of the briefcase, and Loki's able to reach down and pick it up, setting up the events of Loki and, of course, setting up the whole multiverse. Speaking of Hulk and him coming down the stairs, we actually have a broken elevator door, a couple of different stickers and references here saying no Hulk there, and you could see an actual hole in the door from where the Hulk punched it. Going back a few levels, we've got Captain America versus Captain America. This whole fight scene with the catwalk there, they tumble on through. You can see there's broken glass everywhere on the floor, but as well as there is a spot to actually place the Captain America on his stomach and recreate, as the designers are putting it, Captain America's tube side scene. The Mark XLIX, or rather, that's Roman numerals 449, is codename Rescue. This is actually a work in progress, which of course we see her suit up in Endgame with this armor. It's very similar, if not the same design as the figure we got from back then. Also down below, there is a little arc reactor next to 3000, referencing
I love you 3000.
from What If. This is really unexpected, but from Mark Stafford, who was the designer of the Daily Bugle and co-designer of this, he calls this version of the tower the What If version.
This is the LEGO What If version. It all happened at once on one building.
From Hawkeye, we have, of course, the memorial outside of the tower with everyone there who was present that day fighting in the Battle of New York. Moving on now to the LEGO Marvel Modulars section. So much to go through. So there is a spot, of course, to connect it to any modular and the other Marvel Modulars, but because of a mistake with the Daily Bugle, there's a spot here, just like in the Sanctum, to actually fix that mistake depending on where you want to position the tower. The same fire hydrant included out front is in all 3 modulars. The last 2 modulars have all had the same lamppost in black, which is interesting because the regular modulars in the Icons line all have had, of course, the lamppost in white. The same garbage bin as the Bugle and Sanctum appears in this set. This might sound like a bit of a stretch, but I just think it's too much of a coincidence not to mention it and point it out, maybe give, designers a little bit of an idea for the next, of course, Marvel Modular. But there's colored pop cans throughout all 3 of the Marvel Modulars. But I noticed that there was one hidden up in the lab, and then of course I noticed that there's all these different colored ones in the vending machine. You've got a green one, a red one, and an orange one. But I went back and I'm like, okay, well that's 3 colors. Is there any more? Well, in the Sanctum in the garbage can, there is a blue can included in the trash bin. And then going all the way back to the Bugle, There's also a vending machine included with a ton of blue cans, and then one of the trash bins also literally has 3 other colored cans. So I was thinking, we need a purple one and a yellow one in the next one, and we've got all these different colored Infinity Stone pop cans to collect throughout them all. But hey, that's just the theory. The rat included in the alleyway has been explicitly said by Mark Stafford to be a reference to the rat from Avengers Endgame. So it's sort of tying all 3 of these sets together. And speaking of tying things together, Wong is included in both sets. And what's interesting is that you have a portal here and you've got portals in the Sanctum. So some people have pointed out, well, what if Wong is actually stepping through the portal from the Sanctum from last year and entering through here in the portal this year? I think that's really cool if you want to think of it that way. Sort of redeems his inclusion a little bit, I guess. But we've also got from the Daily Bugle the same elevator door designs there with the same buttons, the lights, everything. You'll notice that where the Hulk has broken the tower, there's 2 window frames included there. So if you want to go ahead and fix it just like the Daily Bugle, you do have that option too. But don't worry, we're going to be doing a video on that very soon. And speaking of another reach, but I'm really buying into this one is crazy. It's from a commenter by the name of Matthew Becker on YouTube. I pointed out that there was a bucket in behind the cell, and I said, I'm not sure why it's there. And he has a theory. He pointed out that in the Bugle, there was another bucket there. And near the bucket in the Bugle, there's a newspaper that says, "Who is Spider-Man?" And you'll never guess where that newspaper from before that said, "Who is Iron Man?" is located. It's on the exact same floor. And what are buckets used for? They're used to catch leaks. Whether or not that was intentional, it's still a really crazy coincidence that next to these buckets, a couple studs away, there's a newspaper with the exact same headline with a different superhero name. But moving on now to Marvel, one of the biggest MCU Marvel inclusions is, of course, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige included in minifigure form for the very first time. I know that a lot of people wanted Stan Lee, but if you didn't know, he was originally just going to be Kevin, the Avengers fan. They always wanted to have that reference, never explicitly naming him, but then Marvel came back and said, yeah, go ahead, you can call him that. Going back to that Ultron panel, you might have noticed that there were a couple numbers at the top. That is a reference to Ultron's first appearance back in Avengers number 54 in 1968. And speaking of first appearances, there is actually a 2x3 tile up in Tony's lounge of the very first appearance of the Avengers assembling. And that original lineup is included in this set. That's why the Wasp is here to complete that lineup. There is this panel and it's sort of referencing just a ton of different things, so I thought I'd include it here. There's a sticker there with sort of a Disney Plus kind of choose your user who's watching here. You've got red for TS, Tony Stark, blue for Steve Rogers, and then you've got green for the Hulk, yellow for Thor Odinson, I guess because of the blonde hair, right? But you've got a couple of different things here. One of the things is a Hydra file is being dumped into the garbage, as well as in behind there's a couple of different articles that says how to lift safely. So of course lifting Thor's hammer and what not to do. And then you've got Asgard cardio there. And we've got Be an Ant, of course referencing Ant-Man there. But across the room on the 4x4 TV screen, there's a couple other things there because that figure and that character is the exact same news reporter that we've seen from past Marvel sets, as well as that symbol is appeared in so many other sets as well for Marvel. So it's sort of this brand that they have created here for the LEGO Marvel universe. Also, just looking at the Hulk there, you'll notice that he's green, not olive green. He's also got a hair design that isn't like the one included in the set. To me, that looks like the original Hulk from 2012, the very first Hulk that we got. But in reality, it's just because sticker sheets have a limited amount of colors they can print with. But speaking of those old days, so the studs and cylinders included for the flying characters, it's actually interesting. That's of course what we had back in 2012 and for numerous years, but then it went away. And it wasn't until the Sanctum last year that they brought those back, and it's used predominantly throughout this set. A classic fire extinguisher is included here, which is of course maybe a reference more to dummy, but we've also got it appearing all throughout the 11 years span of sets for superheroes. There's actually a couple of other connections to previous Iron Man armories and workshops. The design of the rescue hologram is the exact same one as the last armory, meaning that you could go and put that in that armory and vice versa if you wanted to. There's also a micro figure statue in dark red, which we've gotten multiple times in other sets representing tiny little Iron Man suits. Moving on now to the LEGO references. Couple of facts about this. Not only is this the biggest LEGO Marvel set to date, it also has 31 figures included, making it the set with the most ever minifigures to be included in a single set. The set also contains the most amount of window frames and windows ever to be included in a single LEGO set. There's 269 of those windows and window frames, not counting any of the other transparent blue pieces you see throughout this set. And 269, that might sound familiar because the set number for the tower is 76269. And speaking of that number, I'll include this here, but it's actually referenced inside of the Marvel Taxi gift with purchase. On the license plate, it says AT76269. The Vita Rush vending machine, that might sound familiar. That's actually a brand introduced from LEGO City. And going back to the Octan battery, that's of course a classic LEGO brand. The bubble gum that you actually get in the trash bin out front is a brand from Friends, and there's actually gum underneath the seat. And while some people have said that's a reference to the Winter Soldier, with Black Widow buying all of the gum from the vending machine there, Justin Ramsden confirmed for me that that's it. It's just a reference that the wrapper's been thrown out next to where the gum has been chewed. And speaking of him, there's a ton of references that he includes in a lot of his sets. One of them being the cardboard box opened up in the back, as well as a chicken parm, which is his favorite food, I believe, and that is appearing in so many different sets. So the shawarma shares that design sort of with the chicken parm that he likes to include in a bunch of sets. And then we've also got his classic red mug is another one of the things that he includes. It's in the elevator shaft. So what's interesting is that he was actually co-designing the Gringotts Bank set at the exact same time as the Avengers Tower, which means that some of the pieces that were created for each of the sets were able to appear in the other set. For example, the superhero posing piece that we first saw appear in the summer was actually explicitly designed for this set, which that piece was of course used in Gringotts with the owl being able to appear like it was flying. But one of the pieces created for Gringotts makes its way into this set. There's a new curved element that was created and used in Gringotts that appeared in white, and Justin was able to recolor it here in transparent blue, and it's used all throughout the set for all of the different curved parts of the building. And of course, because Avengers Tower is actually on a 32 by 32 base plate, you are able to stack that on top of the vault section of Gringotts. And shout out to Brickset for taking a photo of this for me, because I had literally just this week buried and put away my vault section of Gringotts. So thanks to them for helping me with this video. I don't know where else to put this, but there's a hidden A on the back of Avengers Tower here. Whew, but there you have it, everyone. That is every Easter egg and reference and just a little hidden detail that you may not have known about this set. I would love it if you comment down below what your favorite reference is. If you spotted something that I didn't, leave it all down below. But anyways, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next one.